Chapter 12 Global Inequalities 2 Inequalities of Race, Ethnicity, Gender, and Sexuality. Gender. How gender is critical in terms of globalization affects on human group. Globalization, particularly through capitalist processes, can magnify existing gender inequalities by extending them globally, often regulating women to low wage, insecure roles in the worldwide supply chains. Consequently, instead of challenging gender norms, globalization often strengthens traditional gender structure and relationships. Mainstream perspective on globalization in sociology, economics, international relations, and other fields often overlooks or downplay in the gendered aspects of globalization, presenting themselves as gender neutral or gender blind. Gender and the economy. Globalization has fundamentally reshaped the nature of economic activity by facilitating the increase of flow of goods, services, and capital across borders. Women are disproportionately represented in low-paying, part-time, and temporary jobs across both developed and less developed countries. This phenomenon can be attributed to various factors, including gender discrimination, societal norms, and the impact of globalization, which often perp- perpetuates gender inequalities in the labor market. The increased participation of women in the global labor market is evident across a wide range of occupations and professions within the service sector. This trend can be attributed to factors such as the expansion of service industries, the feminization of certain job sectors, and the demand for skills traditionally associated with women, such as caregiving and customer service. Feminization of labor. The rise in female labor participation extends beyond the service sector, encompassing all sectors of the economy. This trend is accompanied by a notable shift as women increasingly enter and excel in occupations that were traditionally dominated by men, breaking down gender barriers and challenging the gender stereotypes in the workforce. The feminization of labor in developing economies, marked by increased female participation, is often accompanied by the feminization of poverty, where women are disproportionately affected by poverty due to factors such as lower wages and limited economic opportunities. Additionally, female proletarianization, or the concentration of women in low-wage, precarious jobs, further exacerbates gender inequalities by reinforcing traditional gender roles and limiting women's access to stable employment and social protection. In many economies, women's increased participation in paid employment is primarily driven by the transition from import substitution to export-oriented manufacturing. This shift has led to the growth of industries such as textiles, garments, and, electronics, which often employ a large number of women due to the perception of women as a cheap and flexible labor force. As a result, women have been drawn into these sectors, contributing to their increased participation in the paid labor market. Jobs in industries such as textile, garments, and electronics are characterized by the flexible use of labor, including part-time and temporary employment, which allows employees to adjust their workforce based on demand. However, this flexibility often comes to the cost of job security and benefits for workers, resulting in high turnover rates and a lack of stability in employment conditions. From a critical perspective of globalization, women often find themselves in the position of being part of a global assembly line, where research and management roles are controlled by developed countries, while lower skilled assembly line work is outsourced to countries in the same periphery or periphery. This arrangement perpetuates global inequalities, with women in less privileged positions in the global economy being regulated to lower paid, less secure jobs in the manufacturing sector.
Hi, my name is Jared A. Valencia from BSA 2-4. In this report, I report the Chapter 12 that titled Global Inequalities 2, Inequalities of Race, Ethnicity, Gender, and Sexuality. Sa chapter na ito, ang re-report ko na part ay ang Export Processing Zone, are special industrial areas often located in developing countries that are designed to draw foreign companies and capital investment. EPZs mainly focus on the production of textile, clothing, and electronics for the mass market. Working conditions are brutal in most EPZs, where violence and abuse are daily routines. EPZ tend to hire mostly young and single women over 25 years of age are usually not hired, since they are seen to be more likely to bear children, making them less reliable as workers. Ang export processing zone ay mga espesyal na lugar na pang-industriya, kadalasan matatagpuan sa mga maunlad na bansa. Pangunahing nakatuon ang mga EPZ sa produksyon ng mga tela, damit, at electronics para sa mass market. Ito ay mga pangunahing produkto. Ang mga kondisyon sa pagtrabaho ay brutal sa karamihan ng mga EPZ, kung saan ang karansan at pang-araw-araw na gawain ang pang-abuso. Ang mga EPZ ay kadalasang kumuha ng mga kabataan at walang asawa. Hindi na sila kumukuha ng higit sa 25 na taong gulang dahil mas marami sila na mag-anak. Kaya hindi sila maasahan bilang mga manggagawa. The next definition of exporting processing zone. The trend towards flexibilization and decentralization in production has contributed significantly to the rise in informal female employment in developing countries. Gendered ideas relating to the division of labor assign reproductive work to women and productive work to men. The global economy creates jobs not only in developing economies, but also in the developed world. Intensifying the feminization of migration, domestic work has grown on a local and global scale and is not considered the largest labor market for women worldwide. Sinasabi lang dito, ang kalakaran patungo sa pag-unlad ng produksyon ay mayroong malaking naimbag ang informal na babaeng trabador. Ito, dahil dito umunlad ang bansa. Ang kasarian na idea pa ay kaugnay sa dibisyon ng paggawa ay nagtataga ng reproductive na trabaho para sa kababaihan at produktibong trabaho para sa mga kalalakihan. Sinasabi pa, ang gawaing pangbahay ay lumago sa lokal at pandaigdigang saklaw at ngayon ay itinuturing na pinakamalaking paggawang merkado para sa kababaihan sa buong mundo. The next is, since most female migration take place in undocumented and informal ways, women laborers face the worst form of discrimination, exploitation, and abuse. Undoubtedly, positive transportation have taken place for those women who have benefit from new opportunities afforded by economic change. but not so far those who have been marginalized and excluded as a result of their position in the national and global economics. Sinasabi dito, ang karamihan sa mga babaeng migration ay undocumented at informal na paraan. Kinakarap ng mga manggagawang kababaihan ang pinakamasamang anyo ng diskriminasyon, pagsasamantala at pang-aabuso. And the next part is global care change. Churchill 2000 argues that the migration of domestic workers is part of a global care chain involving a series of personal relationships between people across the globe based on the paid or unpaid work of caring. Women supply their own care labor to their employer, while consuming the care labor of others, both paid and unpaid. On one end of the chain is a woman in the north pursuing professional employment and finding himself unable to fulfill her duties within the family. On the other is a domestic worker oldest daughter taking over her mother familiar duties. Ang global care change ay isang serye ng personal ng mga relasyon sa pagitan ng mga tao sa buong mundo, batay sa binabayaran o walang bayad na trabaho ng pag-alaga. Ang halimbawa nito ay ang mga kababaihan ay nagbibigay ng kanilang sariling pangalaga sa kanilang nagtatrabuhan habang inuubos ang pangalaga ng trabaho ng iba. Parehong binabayaran at hindi binabayaran. Ang ibang kababaihan ay nais na makahanap ng profesional na trabaho at paghanap ng kanyang sarili na hindi magampanan ang kanyang mga tungkulin sa loob ng pamilya. Sa kabilang banda ay kinukuha ang panganay na anak ng isang domestic worker sa mga tungkuling pampamilya ng kanyang ina. And the next definition of global care change can also be referred to as the international transfer of caretaking, the global nanny chain, and the racial division of reproductive labor. They represent a paradoxical situation in women's empowerment through participation in the labor force. In this sense, women labor force participation does not necessarily result in a change in traditional gender roles, but rather leads to greater exploitation of immigration women by middle and upper class women. The flow of reproductive labor has increased as a result of globalization and the growth of global economy. Sa ganitong kahulugan, ang pakikilahok ng mga kababaihan sa lakas na paggawa ay hindi kinakailangang nagreresulta ng pagbabago sa mga tradisyonal na tungkulin ng kasarian, ngunit humahantong sa higit na pagsasamantala sa mga kababaihan, migrate ng paggitna at mataas na uri ng mga babae. And the next part is responding to the resisting global minority status, the case of women. Later, the concern came to focus on the adverse effect of global capitalism, increased global trafficking in women, education, women in armed conflict, the lack of a voice in global civil society, and other decision-making. Representation in media and the growth of anti-feminist fundamentalist movements. Sa part na the case of women, ang tinutukoy dito ay ang masamang epekto ng pangdaigdigang kapitalismo Halimbawa, nadagdagan ang pandaigdigang trafficking sa kababaihan, edukasyon, kababaihan sa armadong tunggalian, ang kakulangan ng isang boses sa pangdaigdigang lipunang sibil at iba pang paggawa ng desisyon, representation sa media at ang paglago ng anti-feminist fundamentalist. Ang susunod naman na definition ay ang more positivity. The global women's movement have come to focus on issue of global justice for women and other minorities. It has had a strong impact on the United Nations and has helped to create strong linkage between the United Nations, national government and non-national government organization. Ang sinasabi dito ay mas positibo ang kilusan ng kababaihan sa mga isyu ng pandaigdigang hustisya para sa kababaihan at iba pa. Ito ay nagkaroon ng malakas na epekto sa United Nations at nakatulong sa lumikha ng matibay na ugnayan sa pagitan ng United Nations, pambansa, pamahalaan at hindi mga organisasyon ng pamahalaan. Women throughout the world have not only been involved in the global women's movement but have responded at local and regional levels to a variety of problems caused by globalization. Marx, Ferry, and Tripp 2006 argue that feminism still needs to be seen as a truly global phenomenon. Feminists unite. Sinasabi dito na ang mga kababaihan sa buong mundo ay hindi lamang naging kasangkot sa pandaigdigang kilusang kababaihan, ngunit mayroong tumugon sa lokal at regional na antas sa iba't ibang mga suliraning dulot ng globalisasyon. At doon na po nagtatapos ang aking report. Maraming salamat po.
So now let's discuss about the social construction of race, ethnicity, gender, and sexuality. When we say social construction, it is a concept that exists not in objective reality but as a result of human interaction. It exists because humans agree that it exists, and a common example of this concept ay money and countries. Bakit money? Kasi kung tutuusin, ang pera ay gawa lang siya sa papel, imbued with details, but as humans attach the great importance of this as our world deems it as a necessary tool in order to bargain. So that's why money is just a social construct. So race is a social group defined on the basis of real or presumed physical, biological, or phenotypical characteristic. So yung race is kung ano yung physical na nakikita natin, na ginugroup natin based sa kung ano nakikita natin. Ang example nito is yung mga American people. Sa Amerika, meron silang white or black people na tinatawag, na kung saan yung mga black ay mababatingin ng mga American, tas yung white naman is parang ayun yung mga nakakaabante. While sa ethnic group, it is a social group defined on the basis of some cultural characteristic. So sa ethnicity, it is a group naman ng mga tao na ginugroup ayon sa kanilang kasanayan or paniniwala. Ang example nito is yung mga Ita, indigenous people. So ang racism naman, racism belief in the inherent superiority of one racial group and the inferiority of others. So ang racism and ethnicism serve as a similar functions in social discrimination, both defined as other as inherently different from an inferior to the dominant group in the society. So ang xenophobia naman, beliefs, attitude, and prejudices that reject, exclude, and believe a group made up of outsider or foreigners. So ang sinasabi dito, ang xenophobia ay may nangyayari na pag-gatekeeping dahil gusto nila maritain yung power na meron sila over the inferior group of people. So in the relation of social construction of race, ethnicity, and xenophobia, as you degrade the great divide between various races and ethnicity. This behavior has been resulted to numerous murder, physical attacks. So, ano pinagkaiba ng gender tsaka sex? So, gender the society construct rules, behaviors, expressions, and identities of girls, women, boys, men, and gender diverse people. It influences how people perceive themselves and each other, how they act and interact in the distributions of power and resources in the society. In the other hand naman, yung sex is a two group, only female and male. Ito yung kung anong kasarian mo nung pinanganak.
Majority and minority in a global context. Majority and minority relations are important set of concepts for understanding social and global inequality. The dynamics of majority and minority relationships lead to the emergence of a range of minority issues which provide challenges and opportunities for states and societies as a whole. Such issues in spheres of life are identified and articulated both by minorities and by states seeking to manage diverse societies. Minority group. A group of people in a subordinate position in terms of wealth, power, and prestige. So, in global context, from the term minority, nagre-refer siya sa mga group na people who are numerically smaller or less power compared to the dominant or majority population in a specific region or country. Ang minority ay status can be based on various factors including ethnicity, race, religion, language, gender, sexual orientation, or socio-economic status. Example nito is religious minorities. So, yung religious minorities ay may mga face issues such as discrimination, restrictions, or religious practices. At challenges din ito para ma-maintain yung kanilang cultural and religious identity. Another example is gender and sexual minorities. So, yung women and members ng mga LGBTQ community ay considered minorities facing unique challenges related to equality, rights, and social acceptance. So next, yung global context na term ng majority. Sa term ng majority refers to the large dominant portion of a population within a specific region, country, or society. The majority is often characterized by having numerical superiority or holding more significant political, cultural, or economic power. Example nito is yung political influence. Majority often hold greater political influence, shaping policies, government structures, and decision-making processes with the given region. Kasi yung political influence is malaking grupo, kaya pabilang siya sa majority. Next, ang cultural influence na the majority often contributes to shaping the dominant norms, traditions, and practices within the society. Political influence at cultural influence ay under siya ng majority since malaki siya, larger or dominant portion siya, population. Kasali siya sa malaking population ng majority. Thank you.